When my wife, Sarah, told me she wanted freedom instead of our marriage, I didn't argue. I just looked at her, nodded, and let the weight of her words sink in. She had been restless for months, talking about independence, about needing to find herself. I thought it was just a passing phase. But that night, she packed a suitcase and walked out. It felt like my chest had been torn open. Still, I stayed quiet, watching the woman I loved choose solitude over everything we had built. The first night alone in the house was unbearable. Her absence echoed everywhere. The empty side of the bed, the quiet kitchen, her untouched coffee mug still sitting on the counter. But I forced myself to stay strong. She wanted freedom, and who was I to chain her to me? Yet the silence gnawed at me. I couldn't help but wonder, was I too controlling, too predictable, too ordinary? A week crawled by. I buried myself in work, while friends told me to move on, to accept her choice. But deep down, I knew Sarah hadn't thought it through. She was chasing an illusion that leaving would fix her unhappiness. I expected she'd call eventually, but I swore to myself I wouldn't beg. On the seventh day, my phone lit up with her name. I froze, staring at the screen. Part of me wanted to ignore it, to let her live with the consequences of walking away. But my heart still belonged to her, so I answered. Her voice was shaky, fragile. "Can we talk?" We met at the little cafe we used to frequent in the early days of our relationship. When she walked in, I barely recognized her. She looked smaller, drained, the spark in her eyes dimmed. She tried to smile, but it trembled. After a long silence, she whispered, "Freedom isn't what I thought it would be." Her fingers traced the rim of her cup nervously. I thought leaving would make me feel alive, but instead, I feel lost, empty, like I gave up the one person who truly cared for me. Her words softened me, but anger still stirred beneath the surface. Where was this honesty when she walked out the door with her suitcase? Where was this clarity when she chose herself over us? I wanted to scream, to remind her the nights I lay awake, questioning my worth. But I stayed calm. "What did you expect to find out there?" I asked quietly. Her eyes dropped in shame. "I thought I'd find happiness, maybe excitement. Instead, I found loneliness. The friends I thought would be there disappeared. The freedom I wanted feels like a cage now. I miss home. I miss you." Her confession pierced me, but it didn't erase the wound she left behind. Love is powerful, but once trust is broken, it doesn't heal overnight. I studied her, wondering if I could ever let her back into my life without her betrayal shadowing every moment. She reached across the table for my hand, but I pulled back. "You wanted freedom, Sarah." I said, "You got it. Now you know what it costs." Tears welled in her eyes, and for the first time, the balance had shifted. I wasn't the broken one anymore. She begged for another chance, swearing she had learned her lesson. But promises meant little now. That week of silence had shown me something important. I deserved someone who wouldn't walk away in the name of selfish dreams. That night, I went home torn between the part of me that still loved her and the part of me that had finally found strength in her absence. In the end, strength won. I realized I couldn't return to someone who saw our marriage as a prison instead of a partnership. The next morning, I called her. My voice was steady. "I'll always care for you, Sarah. But what you left behind isn't waiting for you anymore. You chose freedom. I'm choosing peace. We can't go back." Her silence on the other end told me she understood. She wept, begged one last time. But I didn't waver. For once, I chose myself, the same way she had chosen herself a week earlier. The difference was that my choice wasn't about running away. It was about honoring my own worth. And so, our marriage ended not with her leaving me, but with me letting her go. She thought freedom would set her free. But in the end, it only showed her what she had lost. And the truth cut her deeper than she ever imagined.